All your favorite wrestling shows rolled into one. Welcome to the We Book It podcast. Let's start the show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. I am your host, Coach. I am also your current booking world champion 2 times now, and I will be putting my title once again on the line for this Saturday night's main event, which we will have another match added to the card from tonight's Monday Night Raw, something that we kind of expected, but we'll get into that later. And I am joined tonight by the CEO, the man, the myth, the legend. If you need help with anything, you know who to call. It is this guy right here, whether it's something about podcasting, whether it's something about the Bible, working out, or even just getting some air in tires. He is your man. It is Virgil.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Appreciate that warm welcome, Coach, man. Thank you for having me on Monday, Raw Dog Monday nights, man. This is a pleasure to be here with you tonight and to be breaking down some Monday Night Raw with the current booking world champ.
All right, we're gonna jump right into it. A lot of stuff happening tonight. The go home Monday Night Raw before Saturday night's main event, and who better than kicking it off for the Monday Night Raw? It is the World Heavyweight Championship face-off between Jey Uso and CM Punk. Jey Uso hits the ring first, does his usual yeeting, does his usual run it back, yada yada. And then he even brings up that he's been hearing a whole lot of talk, probably bringing up the latest debacle on social media where he is the second most disliked video on WWE's YouTube, but saying that he didn't care what people thought about him. And he didn't care. All he cares about is becoming a 2-time World Heavyweight champion, to which CM Punk came out to confront Jey Uso. Basically, Punk acknowledged that Jey was willing to do whatever it took, even throwing his own brother over the top rope. And then, of course, he does his signature line, "I need to be World Heavyweight Champion like I need air in my lungs," something we've been accustomed to with CM Punk. And Uso just said, "Screw you, Punk," and does his usual catchphrase and exits stage left. I'm going to be honest here, Virgil.
Mm-hmm.
This didn't do anything for me. I was very disappointed.
Okay.
I think CM Punk did what I think the layers he was trying to add to it was a good touch and was trying to add to a storyline. And then Jey did nothing with it. And there's no real animosity between these guys. Even CM Punk mentioned how they were good friends. You could have easily done a storyline of, good friends willing to do whatever it took to get the title. And They didn't do that. And Jey is just sticking with his eventual downfall into his heel turn by saying he only needs himself. This just didn't do it for me, and it's a shame.
Yeah, I think for me, I wanted more from Jey.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Punk poked and prodded, and stuff like that, but I think this was also a shift in the character of Jey Uso after this promo and after seeing him, and you'll probably mention it later about his interaction with his brother. I mean, it could very well be that they're shifting gears, and that he won't probably turn heel now. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, as far as this would have been much better shot as a segment, almost kind of like what they did with Roman and Heyman and Punk, where like it could have been like easy like a movie segment, a backstage segment, something like that. You have to open up the show with this. There were no pipe bombs, there were no real good one-liners or anything like that. A bunch of recycled stuff and a whole bunch of yeeting. So
yeah. A lot less eating than usual, if I may say so myself.
They still made him run it back though. So
yeah, I was taking note of that. I wanted to see what was happening there. The hard cam view, you could see people eating, but if you look to the sides, it was very minimal. But the hard cam people, yes, they were still getting into it.
Yeah.
But everywhere else, it's not looking good.
Which isn't a bad thing. I don't mind the fans turning on Jey Uso because it will thicken his storyline up and it will cause WWE to have to pivot. Again, the kids are always going to eat. It's the cool thing to do now if you're a wrestling kid, like I said. But again, the adults are starting to realize like shit's kind of corny. It's getting corny now. And so the adults in the room are kind of like, okay, Jay, like, what else you got for us? Are you a one-trick pony? Are you going to eat your way to another world championship because you sell t-shirts, or are you actually going to give us some substance? I would venture to tell you the best years of Jey Uso's career, there were two of them. The year Roman came back and he fought him tooth and nail for that Universal Championship on SmackDown. Like those two literally carried SmackDown all the way up until Jey finally eventually joined Roman after their Hell in a Cell I Quit match. And I mean, like I said, it was amazing what they did and the story that they told. And then of course, obviously Jey breaking off and leaving the bloodline completely and going to Monday Night Raw. And that's really where main event Jey Uso took off, But again, fresh coat of paint wouldn't hurt Jey, or some time off wouldn't hurt Jey. I personally think people when and we talked about this on last night's episode, when people leave for a bit and come back, it just means so much more. Like think about the pop that you're going to get when Kevin Owens eventually comes back. Think about the pop Bianca Belair is going to get. Think about the pop that Liv Morgan's going to get. I mean, these are people that you want to see again, but these are all people that at one point we were sitting right here doing the same thing, complaining about. We were saying like, oh my gosh, like another Liv Morgan Judgment Day segment. Oh my gosh, another Bianca Belair title match. Oh my gosh, another Kevin Owens promo. Actually, that's a lie. I've never said that about Kevin Owens. I personally think Kevin Owens is probably one of the most entertaining people in all of wrestling. That dude is hilarious.
Yeah, I never get tired of KO either.
The off the script stuff he did with Cody Rhodes in that on Cody Rhodes show when he started talking about Bron Breakker and his and that spray on there. He's like, seriously, nobody needs to be that color. Dude, I feel like I could sit and talk to Kevin Owens all day and it would never get old. That's just me though.
Yeah, I agree. Well, we move on to our first match of the evening, which is a number one contenders match for the IC title. It is between Penta and Rusev. And this match had a lot of high-flying spots from Penta, of course, but then you also had the hard-hitting Bulgarian brute that dominated throughout the match, even catching Penta in mid-flight with a kick to the jaw. But it was Penta answering with a Penta driver that Rusev kicked out at 2.99. A beautiful near fall spot. It almost looked like the referee sped up his count on accident and had to slow himself down, but Rusev did a great job of selling it like it was just a normal spot. So hats off to them. And right as things were really picking up, here comes Los Americanos that hit the ring, causing a double DQ. And as both Rusev and Penta get thrown out to the side, the Americanos stand tall, only for both Rusev and Penta to get back up and drive them out of the ring. And right when you think Rusev is about to attack Penta again, they just stare at each other and then glare at the Americanos as that segment comes to an end. Really good match.
Yeah.
Surprisingly good chemistry between Penta and Rusev. And I don't think they're going to go this route, but it could be I don't mind it if they do. Could they be partners for a little bit going up against the Americanos? That's kind of.
Yeah, I think that was almost. I mean, even in, and I'm sure you'll cover it in the next segment or whatnot when you come back from commercial break. But Dom even mentioned that, like, oh man, now they're gonna go out to Americanos. I guess that I don't have anybody from Intercontinental Championships. So think about it. Think about how Dom keeps like sideswiping the heat, you know. So originally he had AJ on this trail. Well, now AJ is the World Tag Team Champion with Dragon Lee, so he's not thinking about, you know, the Intercontinental Championship. Whew, dodged a bullet there, you know. And then you think about, and like I said, and now Rusev and Penta have problems because Los Americanos keep coming after them. So I mean, like I said, they're going to have to end up eventually fighting those guys, right? Mm-hmm. I think that this paves the way for a match against John Cena for the Intercontinental Championship, because he can't run from John Cena. There's nobody who could put in John Cena's way to prohibit him from going after that Intercontinental Championship. Just my thoughts, though.
No, you bring up a good point, and I think that is something that is going to be very curious as it progresses, and it adds some flavor to the story. I like that. But we will learn more about the fallout of this match in just a little bit. But we get to our next match, which is Nikki Bella versus Roxanne Perez. And I'm going to be honest, not good. Not good.
Talk your talk, Coach. Go ahead. Let them know.
I mean, it's tough. First off, you're putting Roxanne in a really tough spot in this match. You're pretty much asking her to carry Nikki Bella throughout this match. It's no offense to Roxanne. I think she is a great talent. I think she is going to be one of the great women's wrestlers in WWE in the near future. She's not a proven star yet. She's not a Becky Lynch. She's not a Charlotte Flair or an Alexa Bliss or a Bianca Belair or even a Bayley that can help carry somebody who still has ring rust through a match.
Right.
It was, man, she just looks hesitant. She looks very hesitant in everything that she does, and it's concerning. Do I think she'll get better? Absolutely. But
you mean Roxanne?
No, I'm talking about Nikki. Sorry.
Oh yeah, bro, it's over with for Nikki Bella. You can get about it, bro.
Yeah.
She can't wrestle, bro. I mean that. Listen.
I'm listening.
Brie was always the better wrestler of the two.
Facts.
Nikki was with John Cena.
Also facts.
So let's just put that out there, right there and there. Brie Mode was a real thing. Like, she was actually always the better of the two. I feel like Daniel Bryan really worked with her and helped her hone her skills. Meanwhile, I feel like Nikki focused a lot on her body and her looks, you know, and, you know, shaping herself in that manner, which, I mean, again, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not trying to talk trash about her doing that. I mean, like I said, she wanted a reality show. She wanted to be a reality star. She wanted to be John Cena's wife for a long, long time. You know, she got one of the two. But if I were her, I would have spent a lot more time at the Performance Center and a lot less time on the main roster wrestling as of right now. I mean, you got to remember, you got your vets like CM Punk coming back from injury, and going down to the Performance Center and just shaking off the ring rust. You know, you got Cody Rhodes when he came back from injury. He didn't even go to his own Nightmare Factory. He went to the Performance Center with the rest of the wrestlers. You know, where they go and worked out down there for a couple of weeks. You know, when guys start really trying to train to come back and to make a huge impact, like it's going to take a while, and you need to go down there with the kids that are ring rats right now, that are literally just working out every single day in the ring trying to get better. Get in there with Ricky Starks. Get in there. You know, I mean, Charlotte Flair did the same thing. You know,
yeah, she did.
Like I said, I can't say for sure if Nikki did or didn't go to the Performance Center, but I will tell you she did not spend enough time at the Performance Center, and this match proves it.
Yeah, I agree. It's very concerning.
Yeah,
honestly.
What's the end goal with her?
Exactly.
You're not gonna put a world title on her. I mean, is it the Intercontinental Championship? You know, I mean, what's the end goal here?
Well, we all know she's turning on Stephanie eventually, and maybe that's what she needs. Maybe she needs to be a heel to kind of get her back in the swing of things, because she is a very good heel.
She is. She's very. The Bellas both, when they turned heel, they were very smug, but they played it really good, like the high school cheerleaders that you just couldn't stand because they knew they were better than you and they knew it.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it worked, and they bullied people for a long, long time.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see whatever this end game goal is for Nikki Bella. But either way, we get on to our next match, which was made by Paul Heyman, and it is LA Knight versus Bron Breakker. Breakker dominated the action into it. Then out of the commercial break, he was wearing down LA Knight. LA Knight fought back, rolling late, driving the badass to the mat, had superplex from the top rope that not a lot of people saw coming. Some really good spots, but eventually it was Bronson Reed who distracted LA Knight. LA Knight went for Bronson Reed. That's when Breakker was lining up for the gorilla press, but LA Knight got away, set up for the top rope for his elbow drop. But as he jumped, Breakker dodged the flying Knight and then broke him in half with a spear for the win. Solid match. Repetitive? Yeah, maybe a little bit. However, it still is all right in my eyes. Quality was there. Finish was perfect. Loved the near falls. Was it their best match together? No. But I still think it was a very solid match. And before I get your thoughts on this, Virgil, after that match, a backstage segment was shown with Adam Pearce finding Dominic Mysterio, to which Dom was like, oh, I don't know what's going to happen with Penta and Rusev now because they're going to be focused on the Americanos. Well, Adam Pearce says that it will now be a triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship at Saturday night's main event between Dom Mysterio, Rusev, and Penta. So, Virgil, what do you think of the match and then that announcement from GM Adam Pearce?
One part you forgot to mention that was very huge and very telling. A fan in the crowd had a sign that said, "We want LA Knight, not Jey Uso." And LA Knight grabbed that sign and put it like right in front of the camera as he was walking down the aisle. And then
I missed that.
that dude, that in itself, like I said, I expected you to mention that because that's like going right back into what you've been saying. Like, you know, like the fans are turning on LA Knight. I mean, on Jey Uso. Like, and again, as I know as a unit, the We Book It unit, as a team, I think everybody has said outside of me that the ship has sailed on LA Knight. But I'm telling y'all, he's still the hottest thing out there. If they would give him a title, I doubt anybody would be pissed about it. Like I said,
Right.
I still think that there's some tread on those tires for LA Knight. It's just their refusal to give him a belt, and Triple H keeps dangling this carrot, saying you gotta wait for it, you gotta wait for it, you gotta wait for it. Well, it's like, how long? How long you gonna make me wait, bro? Seriously, there has to be somebody to talk about somehow. Sometimes Triple H stretches stuff a little bit too long. It's okay for a quick payoff sometimes. It don't always have to be a year-long, 2-year-long odyssey, drawn out journey to get to wherever we want the mountaintop to be. Like, just do it sometimes. Go through it, even if it's just quick and it's not for a long time. That's okay.
Yeah, I agree. It like pull the trigger on stuff. Like Chad Gable IC title run missed that opportunity.
Yep.
Chad Gable and Otis's rivalry missed that opportunity.
Yep.
Oddly, poor Chad Gable has been in 2 of those situations. So
poor Shorty G.
Ooh, ouch. Bringing that name back. Ouch.
Shorty G. Oh man, but yeah, no. The match in itself, like I said, LA Knight and Bron Breakker, I'm pretty sure are when they're making their rounds around the towns. I'm pretty sure that's the match that they are that they're running right now. So it's cool. It works. Like I said, this is who he's working with probably each and every night, and I don't hate it. It's a match. It is what it is. It gave LA Knight some TV time. Obviously, it gave Bron Breakker some TV time, so you don't miss these guys while we're waiting in limbo for whatever is about to happen between all of these collectives. So, outside of that, LA Knight is still in the bidding for the World Heavyweight Championship. Like I said, and I'm sure you'll address that. As far as the stuff with Dirty Dom, triple threat, Intercontinental Championship match, he will find another way to slither his way out of losing that Intercontinental Championship.
Yes.
They are literally making him into the Intercontinental Championship version of Crash Holly, where when he had the hardcore title and it was 24/7 defended, he would literally he had people following him everywhere he went in every single town, and they would chase him around and try to get that hardcore championship away from him. He fought in one of the ball playpens. He fought at a McDonald's. It's somewhere everywhere. So, like I said, it was a crazy journey. But Dom is finding different ways how to get out of losing that Intercontinental Championship, and it's kind of become the running joke week by week. But again, like I said earlier, there is going to come a time and an opponent that he won't be able to run from. And they're building it up where the Judgment Day is going to end up costing him the Intercontinental Championship, and they're going to end up fighting probably him and Finn, definitely.
I wouldn't mind that.
Me either. Especially a babyface Finn Balor. It's been so long since he's been a babyface.
Yes. Which, speaking of the Judgment Day, we go into our next match that was demanded by Sheamus, that he face either Finn Balor or JD McDonagh, and shockingly, JD McDonagh with some confidence stepped in and said, I'll take him on, and that if McDonagh wins, then Adam Pearce will give the Judgment Day a tag team championship rematch next week on Raw. This was a lot of Sheamus showing off, like as it should be. And it was a lot of Finn Balor providing just enough distraction to throw Sheamus off and allowing JD to stay in the match. And it was even to the one point to where Sheamus had McDonagh pinned, and then Balor put JD's foot on the ropes to cancel the count. And then as as Sheamus is getting ready to hit a Celtic cross on Balor, McDonagh stops him, and then it goes back into the ring. Sheamus went for the ropes, but Balor caught him with the shillelagh, and McDonagh hit a Spanish fly from the top rope for a surprising upset victory over Sheamus. This, first off, great chemistry between McDonagh and Sheamus.
Sure. Our fellow Irishman.
Yes, exactly. The interference for Balor, I mean, I guess you could have saw that coming, but for me, it still was a surprise that it happened, and it's a result that kind of shows that backstage is starting to get a little high on JD McDonagh, because you can see it in his character too. He's getting more confident, and maybe that's kind of what they want him to do, is when this Judgment Day eventually breaks off, he is going to be out on his own. And I think they're kind of test running it right now on how is it going to be when he is a singles competitor. And the crowd doesn't hate him like they used to. Like, it wasn't just heat because he's a heel. It was go away heat. Like, we don't care about you. But after that match where he busted his head and still finished the match, the crowd was like, okay,
we're kind of won him over a little bit.
Yeah, we're like, okay, we can respect what you did for our entertainment. And they were starting to notice his matches more and like, okay, yeah, maybe he's not as bad as we thought he was. And now they're starting to really get behind him. Like, even in this match with Sheamus, obviously Sheamus still gets most of the pop, but you could still hear some cheers for McDonagh. And then even when the match ended, you don't get the chorus of boos or anything like that in this match. It was more of a kind of like I won't say a golf clap, but just like people were like, okay, yeah, that wasn't bad. That wasn't bad. We'll take that. That's an okay match. But good match all the way around. And then obviously Adam Pearce grants JD and Finn their tag team title match next week on Raw between them and AJ Styles and Dragon Lee. Virgil, what do you think of this match?
The match in itself, Sheamus doesn't put on bad matches. I don't think he knows how to put on a bad match, which is really cool and really a testament to him. I would love to see Sheamus, once he does decide to hang up his boots, if he decides to stay in America and work for WWE, I would love to see him be an agent in the back, because I truly believe he can put together good matches and teach some of the younger talent, especially the big guys, your Damian Priest, your other big guys like that, especially those guys coming up in NXT, like your Oba Femis and guys like that. I can really see him teaching those guys how to put together a big match and how to work with smaller talent where you don't look weak, but it doesn't look like insurmountable odds for them, and like the fans can really buy into the match. I love the way that he creates, and you can tell he was calling this whole match with JD, and he made JD look so good. Again, like I said, you figured that Finn and JD would get a rematch for the World Tag Titles. Now, will they win them? That remains to be seen. I hope they don't. In my eyes, I would say if you want to continue the Judgment Day storyline, Dom comes out, tries to help them, ends up hurting them, and they end up losing that match because of Dom Mysterio. And it just furthers their storyline where they're pissed at Dom. And again, you're pushing it further into, okay, you're going to push Dom up against the wall, back him up against the wall here. And now you have to figure out who is on whose side. And it'll be great television. It'll be cinema.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with you on that. All right. Now we get to our main event of the evening. And brace yourself, people. It's not anything to do with the Vision or the Usos.
What?
It is actually the women's tag team championship match between Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss versus Bayley and Lyra Valkyria. And all I can say to that match, beautiful.
Yep.
That was a beautiful match. That the chemistry between all, you knew that Alexa, Charlotte, and Bayley were going to have great chemistry, but the fact that you throw Lyra in there, who has never, she even mentioned this, she has never faced Charlotte, she has never faced Alexa, and she just thrown in there and meshes so well with those two. And it was really, really great. And they did a lot of things of a usual tag match that you would expect. They did it opposite. And I really liked that. One thing that I noticed for sure was they had the hot tags coming in. They had Lyra tag Bayley in, Alexa tag Charlotte in, and you could hear it on commentary. Joe Tessitore was saying, and here comes Charlotte. And all of a sudden, Bayley just jumps on her and starts beating her up. Like, you expect Charlotte to start going on her comeback run, and no, Bayley just stops it right there. And I thought that was genius. I was like, that is something fresh. I like that.
They put together a really good match.
Yes, they did. Late as Bliss was about, she hit the Sister Abigail out of nowhere, but then Bayley broke up the pin at the absolute last second. Crowd starts chanting, "This is awesome," rightfully so. Valkyria then delivered Nightwing to Alexa Bliss, but then Flair comes in with the boot to Valkyria's head, and then as Flair is applying the figure 8, sorry. Bayley is getting ready to tap out. Valkyria comes in, grabs Bayley's arm, and holds it up so that she does not tap out. And then Bliss hits Twisted Bliss, and then Charlotte hits the double natural selection for the win. And it was a thing of beauty. And then after the match, the Kabuki Warriors come out, who was, Virgil, I know this is one of your favorite things about new WWE is the continuity throughout the show. The Kabuki Warriors were that continuity. And here was their payoff as they stood tall. Also, great video package on Asuka celebrating 10 years in WWE.
Definitely.
And
I like that too.
It's only, I'm not going to say this is intentional, but it's very ironic that it comes out after Goldberg does his complaining and says they had some girl beat my streak. And then they even mention it in her video package, her undefeated streak. So I'm not saying there's a correlation. I'm just saying they probably did that on purpose.
As a big FU.
Yeah. But oh man, this match stole the show.
Yeah.
Great main event, much needed freshness, and you had 4 women who just delivered like crazy.
For a company that swears up and down that they don't listen to the wrestling Twitter or wrestling X or the wrestling internet community, the IWC, they sure do kind of flip things on the dime a little bit, and make things fresh. And I'll tell you what, it was very refreshing to have a Monday Night Raw not centered around the Vision. Very, very, very quiet night for the Vision. They started the show off focusing on the World Heavyweight Championship match. They ended the show focusing on the women's tag team titles and giving them a spotlight. And honestly, it all worked. It all made sense. And it all made for a great, great television show. So I thoroughly enjoyed this Monday Night Raw. I would rate it. I would give it a B+ in my book. Like I said, it did have its piss break match, but outside of that, you furthered along the Jey and Punk storyline again. Like I said, this was your go home. And again, you got to remember they haven't had time to really build a whole storyline for this because this wasn't what it was supposed to be. But like I said, they didn't have time to do everything like they would have normally done because they had to wait to see if Seth was really injured, how injured was Seth, then strip him of the belt. Then like I said, basically on 2 weeks you're building up a match between Jey and Punk. So that's fine. That is what that is. You told the story of Dom and you're allowing the Judgment Day story to breathe and get some light. Again, like I said, and of course the Kabuki Warriors, they are a big story right now within WWE, and then Bayley and Lyra Valkyria and their issues is a story also. So all good things to point out. LA Knight got some shine too, and you did get one member of the Vision, but they weren't in the last match. So all in all, pretty good show.
Yeah, I totally agree with you on that. And that I also give it a B+ as well for the night. And folks, that's gonna wrap things up for us here on the We Book It podcast for another edition of Monday Night Raw Dog. Thank you to all of our viewers, listeners, subscribers, whoever you are. Thank you for tuning in. If this is your first time, please like, share, and subscribe to all of our content. We have lots of shows, lots of talk about wrestling, and this is just the tip of the iceberg for our channel. Feel free to leave a comment, ask us, say, hey, we want to see some of this. Like, we want to hear from you. We want to know what's on your mind. Unlike WWE, we will listen to our followers. And, well, within reason, of course. But, yeah, that for Virgil, I'm Coach. Thank you again for tuning in to Monday Night Raw Dog. We'll see you next week after the fallout of Saturday night's main event.